Hello and welcome to another Solana tutorial. Today we're gonna talk about the new SBPF linker. Why are you looking at me like that? You have no idea what that is? Well. See, sometimes I know what I'm doing. Sometimes I pretend I know what I'm doing until I know what I'm doing. And sometimes, like today, I admit that I have no idea what I'm doing. Because this is all a bit above my head. Like I don't have a good understanding of that at all yet. Because I don't really know how the Rust Solana stuff really works. So I just want to be honest and tell you that up front. However, that doesn't stop me from looking at it. Because some very smart people told me that I should have a look at that. And I'm like, okay, let's do that. I guess I will learn something. But I do want to admit that I don't have all the technical background of why that is so cool. But other people tell me that it's super cool. So I want to at least start playing around with it. And then in the process, we will start understanding why it's really so cool, I hope. So let's have a look at the SBPF linker by blueshift. On a high level, I think I get the idea. It's basically you can now build with Rust itself and you don't need the forked Rust that Solana provides. You know, Solana forked the LLVM, they forked the BPF, and they forked Rust itself. Such that we have the cargo build SBF. That stuff comes with the Solana CLI. But with this SBF linker by blueshift, you don't need that anymore. You can compile Rust directly and you will get an SO file that you can deploy to Solana. That's the idea, I think. So let's just have a look at that. That's the tweet. It's now safe to turn off your compiler. Okay, basically they're saying Solana has always forked Rust LLVM to maintain its BPF target instead of giving back to OSS. I don't even know what that is. Today that all changes. Behold, a Pinocchio escrow built nightly for upstream BPF with a custom SBPF linker. See, there are words in here that I'm like, no idea what that is. Nightly Rust is the newest Rust, you know, nightly builds, I guess. And the custom SBPF linker, that's what they built in order to have a Rust program that they can then make a Solana program. And there's zero protocol changes. I understand that. It's now safe to turn off your compiler, whatever they mean by that. So there they have an open source example for a Pinocchio escrow that looks like this. It's a program. You will probably recognize that. It's a regular program as you would write with Pinocchio. Also important, it's gotta be non-standard and the target is BPF. So we really compile for BPF and then use the linker. Okay, whatever. Yeah. And that's a whole program. I don't want to analyze the program. I think I'm just gonna use this thing, the linker itself, to get started. And I might use their template and then a cargo build BPF. Wait, cargo build BPF? Because usually I would build SBF. Wait, give me a second. Let's say cargo build BPF. No such command. Right, this is not a thing. But SBF? That is a thing. But I don't have a Rust package here. And build always works because that's just from cargo. Okay, good. We will see. I guess if we install the SBPF linker, then we can build BPF to relink upstream BPF binaries into SBF v0 compatible binary format. So this is the vanilla BPF and we want it to be compatible with Solana. So we need the SBPF and this linker does that. We can have a look what that does. Parse bytecode. Okay, bytecode, byte parser. I think also that will go over my head because I don't really understand what's really inside those files. But we have had a look at some of those files before when we had the read-only data. Where did we do that? When we did assembly, I think we had a look at that stuff partly. I don't know. I have videos on that where we worked with it. We look at the sections, the text sections. That's where the actual bytecodes are. That's the program. So basically it reads the instructions and then it changes them to SBPF instructions. Yeah, I mean, let's try this. Why not? What do we have to lose? There's always something to learn if we just play around with it, especially if it's code from very smart people. So let's get that. Clone this, go there, and now we have it here. And you say I should just cargo install the SBPF linker. Got a few dependencies. Okay, it's got a bunch of dependencies, but that's okay. LLVM stuff, SBF. assembler. No, BPF linker. Cool. Installed. Executables SBF link, SBF linker. Can I now do build BPF? No. Generate a program. Cargo generate. So there's this Solana upstream BPF template, which is also from blueshift. Somewhere they have this upstream BPF template. And basically what it is a super simple program. We gotta use no standard, so we need to have a panic handler. And it's basically got everything in itself. It doesn't even include Pinocchio or anything. It just has the entry point, which is a sol log, syscall unsafe sol log with this. So calling this, or we're defining this as, I guess that's where the syscall lives or whatever. And then we call sol log with this message pointer and the length, such that we can just log a string. And that's the entire program essentially. So why not? Let's get this. Gonna get here, clone this as well. And then in here, I mean, I did this. Hold on. Wait, the difference from me doing this already installed. So saying cargo install is cargo install will install what I have there. And if I install this, then I think it just gets the crate as it's online, as it's published, I think. But anyway, then we need to also install the cargo generate. Cargo generate gets it from the crate index. Yeah. So I don't need to have that downloaded locally. I wouldn't need to have this locally. I just got it so I can see it. But really, what we're doing is working in here, and we install the cargo generate and the SBF linker from the crates as they are published. Building the cargo generate. It's taking a while. That's okay. And then, we need this such that we have cargo generate. That makes sense. Cargo generate. Okay, so now I can say cargo generate. What does that do? Cargo make me a project. Sudos make me a sandwich. Cargo make me a project. Auto attempt to use either git or favorite. Or is that just so cargo? Wait, git repository to clone template from can be I. Wait, so I don't really need this either. I only really need this if I don't manually git clone it myself. But let's just try it anyway. I'm gonna go one out. And if I here say cargo generate this, and I give it the project name, my first upstream BPF, whatever, then it created me this project, which, let me guess, has exactly the same thing as I git cloned from here, except different name. And it's still got this crate type and dependencies, and also the source here. This will be the same as this. Yeah. Okay, so I got it. Okay, so that's what we use the generate for, just so it generates me this. I could have just git cloned this project and it would have also been fine. Same. But the Rust analyzer is now confused. You know what? I'm gonna open this in a separate one. Let's just open this. And now it starts to get interesting. Now we try to build cargo build BPF. Do I have that? Can I nightly build BPF stuff? No, does not exist. What? Unable to build with standard library. Because I don't have nightly. I don't need nightly. What if I just say BPF? Can't find crate for core. BPF unknown none target may not be installed. So I need the Rust target, the right one. And see, this is again where I'm like, oh, I don't really understand Rust well enough, but Rust up. You have targets. How do I see your targets? Show. I currently have this nightly, and I have Solana, which is the one that Solana put in there. But the whole reason why we're doing is that we don't need to use this toolchain anymore, but can use any standard Rust toolchain. And currently I'm using this one. Active because it's the default. Okay, and which one? And if I want to build a nightly, then I need to add a toolchain. So Rust up toolchain. I can again list. Those are the ones that I have. And I can install the toolchain it wants. The nightly, there's this for Linux. So I'm now on the latest. This is from today. I'm literally using the Rust version of today in 192 nightly build. And now if I say cargo take nightly and build BPF, still not. Unable to build with standard library. Does this exist though? This exists, although I don't have a source. Yeah, this doesn't exist anymore. So it wants the source. Okay, maybe I should just do what it tells me here. Add a component. Oh, Rust. Oh yeah, I literally just saw that it didn't have the source and I need to add the component source. Okay, let's download the source and install Rust source such that the source exists. Yeah, ha, okay, cool, nice. And then if I do that, oh, look at that. Ha, we're building something. We're building core. And then we're building my first upstream BPF program, which is, you know, this stuff. And now that we built that stuff, it lives in target with this target. That's what we built for, right? We had this nightly on unknown none or whatever. Yeah, it also tells me that program will be in PPFL unknown none, and then release. And then here we have an SO file, the lib, my first upstream BPF SO. And that probably already used the linker to create this. Huh. Let's run test. Cargo test. Installing all sorts of Solana stuff now. Mollusk. We have a video on that. We have a video on Mollusk. There we go. Hello world. Okay. Test hello world. Success. Program log hello world. Look at this. The program actually works. With Mollusk, we could actually test the program. Isn't that cool? You know, that's that part down here. We are using Mollusk and we process and validate that this checks with success. Nice. If I were to return something else than success here, for instance, 1, which is not 0, and I build this again and I test this again, then it fails. That's cool. The hello world test fails because we expected success and we got the custom program error 1. Okay, cool. So yeah, that seems to be fine. Let's go back to success. Obviously, this should now be this file should now be a deployable program. So let's see if we could actually deploy this to Solana. BPF U for upstream. It doesn't really matter. We go to DevNet and we set that as the key. Oh, wrong key. This. There you go. Can I have some sol? Yes, thank you. That hasn't worked in a while. And then I'll just say Solana program deploy. In my target, this weird something release. And here is my lib somewhere, the SO file. Let's go. Oh wait, this will not work directly because it doesn't have a key. It will just generate one. 2 transactions. Nice. Okay, I don't know which key it took for that now, but maybe it just generated one, not like I care. But hey, we have a program ID, we have a deployed program. Let's quickly call it. And for that to work, we need to add Solana kit. We're working with a kit and do our regular thing where we do a program instruction to the following program. That's the one that we just deployed. So this one. And we don't need any data or accounts. And then we just send that as a transaction. Call that program. Here we go. See? No, wait, it fails. Oh, I didn't rebuild it. It fails with custom program error 1, but it does say hello world. I didn't rebuild it. I did not rebuild that program. That's true. Let's do it again. I need to cargo nightly build BPF again and then Solana program deploy again. The target, and with 2 deployment transactions it's deployed. Oh, now it's deployed to a different. Oh yeah, because here in my target I don't have a key pair. If I wanted to have the same key pair that it deploys to the same address again, then you know I would need to do that. But just to show that here with this program, now if I call that, then it actually gives me success, and I also send it because my script will only send if the simulation goes through. And I could have a look at that also on chain then. Just a program call that says hello world, 105 compute units used. It's just expensive because of a message logs this call. Not like 105 compute units is expensive, but you get the idea. And hey, we deployed a program that is written without any Pinocchio or Solana stuff and was built without the Solana stuff. Wait, is it built BPF because it here says BPF? Probably. If I say build dash BPF, then I choose the target. So if I say build YOLO, that won't exist. Yeah, find package to install with cargo search, cargo build YOLO, cargo list. So we have cargo build BPF, alias build release target BPF unknown none. See, this I think I have this only because I installed that SBPF linker. I'm pretty sure that it's your fault that I have this build BPF, because I didn't have that before. When I started in the very beginning, I didn't have a cargo build BPF, but now I do. Do I also have it here? Interesting. Out here, I don't have it anymore. Let's do generate the same thing again, and I name it another one. So now I have another one. If I go to another one and say cargo build BPF, it seems to have that though. At least the BPF is already here. Where does that come from? Oh, probably also in here I already installed other stuff. Let's go somewhere completely new. Let's do a temporary directory. And if I were to do this here, this cargo generate, then I would expect that generate is not a thing. No, it is a thing. Maybe I installed that globally. Another one is not valid. Another one. So cargo build BPF also works from here. Okay, never mind then. If I say cargo list out here, I just have the build and the build SBF. That's interesting. But as soon as I go to my Solana folder and I list again, no, still not. But as soon as I go to the folder where I installed that, no, also not. What? I guess I need to go into the actual project. And inside the actual project, it will have the BPF. Okay, so it seems like when I generate, it will already add that somehow. And I don't know why. And that's okay, I don't need to understand it. This is also different to how we usually build this. There's another thing. Usually we need to say create type lib as well. But maybe that's not so important here now. Why is this German? Useless. Anyway, okay, so point being, we can deploy or build mainly our own program without having to use the Solana specific Rust stuff. I don't have the right words for that. Now I still don't fully get where that linker comes in. So let's start again from the top and just cargo init. First, I create a directory for it, plain Rust. I don't know, I'm not creative. And inside plain Rust, here init this lib. Now plain Rust is a Rust library. What if I just borrow that code that I have from here and put it in here and then pretend I can build it the same way? In this plain Rust, can I say cargo build BPF? No, because here it's not a thing. I could build SBF it, but that is not what I want. I can cargo build it, and then it builds it the normal way, and I have the normal Rust library stuff. But I didn't get an SO file from this. To get an SO file, I really need to have this linker that does the parsing. But I don't need to have the source code for it. So let's just, in here, what was it? Cargo install the SBPF linker is already installed. Okay, build BPF. It's not a thing though. Okay, so I don't, okay. I'm trying to understand how that, works together. Because again, I have no idea, I'm just playing here. Generate a program. So far we've always generated it like this. Oh, that's a good point. Once I only did a git checkout for the Solana upstream BPF template, which also same code. In this template, can I here say cargo build BPF? Yes, but invalid character in project name. What's your project name? Oh, project name. The template. Because it's a template, it's not supposed to be used directly, but here you go. But hey, here I can do this. That thing, then we get to that error again. Yes, but that thing I could build with build BPF. Why? Wait, what's the difference here that I don't have in my... the crate type is missing. Okay, I give you that. In my plain Rust thingy, I didn't say anything about crate type. Maybe I need to add that. Would that already be enough that I can, in the plain Rust, cargo build BPF? Nope, definitely not. What else is different? I have def dependencies, but they're not so important. Overflow checks, optimization levels. I can take those as well, but those are not the reason why I don't have the build BPF. What else is in this template? That's just the source file look the exact same because I've literally copied them one to one. I say target architecture is BPF and I say no standard. What else is different in this template? It has a cargo generate. That doesn't really mean, doesn't make a difference if I say nightly build BPF? Nope, same, no BPF. Did I get this through the generate? What does the generate do actually? What does generate do? It's weird because it says, if I try to install that, it says it is already installed. Okay, if I go to the SBPF linker and I say cargo build, what's gonna happen? BPF linker, SBPF linker. Then I have the builds for release. Then I get the same stuff in release. But I don't see any executable here. Oh wait, here. Now we have the SBPF linker, SBPF link, the lib. Okay, and now I again have no idea how that would be called. Probably with the SBPF link. Let's check. Target, release. We have the lib linker SO. What? It even made an SO file from itself? Probably because I installed the SBPF linker and then I built with it the SBPF linker. So I'm linking itself. This is not how it's supposed to be. But I think this here or this here. Hold on. Let's list this. Yeah, those two are executables. Can I just SBPF link? And then it requires input. For more info, try help. The object file to link. This is just the link and the link here. Missing required argument. Can I make this bigger? The link here, that looks more like CLI stuff. Output, inputs. So input files can be object files or static libraries. Then I have options, optimization levels. So this looks like a CLI. LLVM args. Nice. Okay, so with this thing, could I theoretically say out file and my input file I get from the plain Rust target? Maybe I want to build in release. I build that stuff in release, and then here I have release. And wait, hold on, what? Now it already has the SO file, but I did a normal build, not a build BPF. But maybe that was just fine. Maybe I don't even need that. My next attempt would have been to run this, and here it's C, and here that fails because I didn't give it the right file probably. But hey, wait a second. Now that I built my plain Rust, here I also get an SO file already. Do you think I can deploy this directly? Let's see, let's change something. Hello from pure Rust. Hello from the Rust. At least you know that I tried. So I build release. I get this plain Rust SO file. Let's just try and deploy this. Why not? Solana. Oh, and then I can also show you if I wanted to have a key for this, let's say the program Pro 6. If I wanted to use this key pair, I could copy it to target, where am I, release lib plain Rust minus key pair JSON. Then it will take this when I deploy this. So if I say Solana program deploy the target release lib plain Rust, then it will use this key pair. Oops, no, it will not do shit. Okay, because I can't deploy this because this is not the right format. Yeah, it's called SO, but it's not the right format. So probably it did not go through the linker as I thought. Hey, maybe, but then maybe, wait, what if I throw that lib SO file into this linker though? Then it also core dumps. Shit, no such file. Tries to find some lib, main panicked. Unable to find LLVM shared link. Okay, so something is not correctly installed here. And still, it's just because I don't really understand the difference between my plain Rust and how I do it here if I cargo generate. And maybe that's not even too important. Maybe you just gotta know that you do it with cargo generate and then you can write whatever. But I would still like to know what's the difference. Or maybe this, the cargo config. Ah, here it is, I found it. Oh, look at that. So, look at that. There's an alias, BPF build, which does build, release, target, BPF unknown none. So, either I copy myself that config, or in my plain Rust, I do cargo build release with this target, and then we have the may not be installed, because the only thing that I did install was the nightly, which I keep mistyping. And then I get this, have you been here? Can't find create core. We have been here. Consider downloading the target. Consider building the standard library for source. But we can't use, or we don't want to use the standard library. Target may not be installed. Oh, probably because I'm missing that. Here it defines that target. Ha! There! It's there! That target, which not installed, yes, because but here it's in the config. Here it names that target and says linker is the SBPF linker, and that's where that comes from. Here's the connection. You know, I said I had no idea what I'm doing, and that's true. I still don't fully understand why we really want this and why that's so cool, but I start to understand how the parts work together, and I love that. So I need to put in Rust flags. Well, really, you need a target. You know what? I'm gonna give my project this file as well. I'm gonna make a directory called cargo, and then inside this directory I'm gonna do a new file, config.toml, where I paste this target. And because I neither like unknown nor none, I'm gonna call it Andy's target. And then I save this, and then I run this again with VBFL Andy's target. I wonder what comes out here now. Failed. Rust C to learn about target specific information. Caused by process didn't exit. Could not load target specification. Could not find specification for target and this target. Yeah, okay, maybe I can't name it that. But if you don't try, you never know. Print target lists. There is a reason why they called it like that. Oh yeah, there is a bunch of given targets, and the one that we want is BP. Okay, yeah, there's a given list. So fine, we can't just call it whatever we want. We need to actually call it that. Fine, you should have that, and we should call it that. Let's try that again. And once again, we can't find core. This might not be installed. Maybe that's got to do with this unstable build standard core alloc. Maybe I also need to add that. And then, oh, look at that, then it compiles. Woo, look at this. Look at this. Nice. I now built the plain Rust, and also such that I don't always need to write build release target. This weird thing, I can define, like they did here, an alias, and I could be like, do the build. I can name this whatever I want because that's just an alias. Here I'm pretty sure that I can name that what I want. So I can now say cargo, do the build. And, oh, no, wait. Again, cannot find core. It's using this. Target may not be installed. No, that doesn't seem to do it. Hold on. Oh, wait, yeah, because I'm missing the nightly. But I could even put that in here, right? Nightly, and then do the build? No. No such command. Nah, can't put that in here. But you gotta play to learn. But then, okay, fine. Cargo, nightly, which I keep misspelling, do the build. This works. Look at that. I can say cargo, nightly, do the build. Or I would actually install that toolchain as well. We did that earlier. Rust up, toolchain, install. We're using this one and the one that it would want. And those are the ones I have. Wait, which one did I add? Why does it work for nightly? Maybe I just gotta add that. Unavailable for download for channel stable. Okay, so this just works for nightly, maybe. I don't know. Not so important. Anyway, so now that we did the build and we have in here the target release libplain rust so, this should now hopefully be the right version for us to do Solana program deploy the target release. Oh, wait, hold on. It's not the release, it's this one. So 1 second before we do that, here in release, let's again copy our program key pair into, and that will always be overwritten once you build it again because it's not set up like that. So make sure you copy and you don't move. But I'm gonna copy to target BPF unknown release, and then here the libplain rust dash key pair JSON, and then if I Solana program deploy the target beep unknown none release lib so, then it will deploy that into transactions to this program ID. And if I put this program ID into our app here, and then I call this program, then it will tell me, hello from pure Rust. And that's the transaction. Nice. Yeah, I mean, I definitely learned some stuff. How you put aliases for the cargo, for, cargo build BPF, for instance. How you put a Rust flag to set the linker, specific linker. And that it is actually possible to write a no standard program completely without Pinocchio or Solana. Full stop, that's one thing I learned. You can do it completely without. Of course, I knew that you just need this. You just need to export the entry point. But then also that we can build this purely with Rust without having to have any Solana toolchains or whatever installed. It does sound cool. Like, being independent of that does seem cool. Again, I'm not like 100. It's a bit like prime numbers. We're like, in the beginning, we're like, oh, that's a cool concept. I'm not sure what they're useful for. But then we find use cases for it. That's kind of what I feel like with this one. I'm not sure why I would want to do that. Like, why I need to get rid of the Solana toolchains. But I'm sure because some very smart people wanted to do that, for instance, Fibo, there must be a good reason to do so. And now you know how it's done, or how to use the SBPF linker, which is sufficient for creating a deployable binary file for Solana program. Now you know how that's done. And even though I can't really tell you why you would want to do it that way, just the fact that you now know how to do it is already a success. And I like that. It's good enough for me. Yeah. Can sign off here. So you can watch those other videos. Give me a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next video, where I hopefully know why I'm doing the things that I'm doing. Also, I mean, just to have fun and to play around with new stuff and learn about Rust. Why not? I mean, it was great. It was a great journey. I enjoyed that. So I'll see you in the next one.